Hi everyone, so this is my part two of my kind of basic brush essentials. If I lost my whole collection of what I have, what would I get again? Either the specific brush or something shaped like this. I'm not going to include things that I would like to get, things that I wish I could buy, or etc. This is just going to be looking at what I have, what I think are the kind of real basic brushes. And this came about because one of my subscribers had asked for a video about brushes. So this is the things that the face brushes I think is a lot more generic. The eye brushes are pretty specific to, you know, what I can do with different things, how I can get the looks that I want using which brushes, how I use them, that kind of thing. And I do plan on making a video at some point that's going to be a get ready with me, but with explanation of all my kind of essential basic brushes, so you can see how I use them as well if you're interested. So if you want to see the eye brushes that are kind of, I would consider my essentials, then stick with me. Again, apologies if the quality is kind of funky, if you hear road noise, if I look like I'm shivering. I'm out in our 3-season porch, which is more like a half a season porch. It's 45 degrees in here right now. It's either too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter, too cold in the fall, too cold in the spring. You know, you know. But there's a ton of windows, so I thought the lighting might be okay. And so we'll see. And the video, somehow I misplaced my camera, my regular video camera. It's around somewhere, I don't know where. So this is an HD webcam, but the quality is not the same, obviously. So apologies for that. All right, so first I'm going to go into something, well, let's go with a brush that I think it kind of do everything. It's not my favorite for doing everything, but there's two different brushes that kind of can do it all, more or less. One is a thick, chunky shader brush. This one is the e.l.f. Studio brush, and it's the C brush. And as you can see, it's quite thick. It's quite dense, and it is synthetic. It's very soft. It picks up a ton of product, and because of the shape of this, you can kind of apply the shadow and then turn it sideways and blend. So you can blend and apply. It's not the best at blending. It can feel a little bit pokey for my preferences at blending, but it is not bad for blending. You can definitely, and I have definitely just used that brush for my entire eye look. The other type of brush that can do it all is something like this. This is a MAC 217, but I also have a Sigma E whatever 35, I don't recall. I feel they're the same. I've tried comparing the two, and I honestly cannot tell the difference when I'm using them between the MAC and the Sigma. So the Sigma is cheaper, so I would buy the Sigma. But this is just essentially kind of a fluffy crease blending brush. You can use this to apply product, to blend product, etc. And this is goat hair. It's got some stiffness, but isn't super stiff. It's just a nice brush, and I definitely would want one of these types in my collection. I have other shader brushes that can work like this. I have a Sigma one, but that one's a little more expensive than the e.l.f. one, obviously. Another type of brush that can't do it all, but I really do enjoy, is a small shader brush. So this one is from Sephora. It is the Pro Small Shadow Brush. It is a little bit floppy. And another one that is nice is the MAC 239. And this is a goat hair. It's a little bit thinner. The shape is a little bit different from the Sephora brush, and just for kind of reference to see the size on those compared to the e.l.f. brush. So I like these for a little bit more of a precise application. I tend to be a little sloppy, it's true, when I'm applying my shadow. So I like a smaller brush that if I want just the outer third to have a color on it, I can keep it to the outer third and not have it end up creeping into 2/3. So I know a lot of people feel this MAC 239 is kind of holy grail, best brush ever. I like it, but I wouldn't put it there. I really do like the Sephora version. I have an Ulta one that is similar, but it is a lot more stiff. And I think it's the stiffness of the 239 that gets me a little, sometimes I don't like it. So if I had the choice, I would probably go with the Sephora Small Shadow again. I think it might be a little cheaper than the MAC. If not, probably either one would do. But I do like a small shader brush. Sounds like he's awake. Try to wrap this up here. I do have a shader brush in a maybe inclusion. This is from the Too Faced Teddy Bear set. I'm not sure if it's 100% the same now or if they changed it, but this one has a shader brush. It has a more of a crease brush, and then this kind of angled fluffy-ish brush which you can apply into your brow bone. You can use it for blending, you can use it for applying product. I do like that shape of brush. And also this kind of skinny liner brush, which I'm don't feel so great about it. I've used it for applying Maybelline Color Tattoo Toughest Taupe in my brows, and it works pretty well since it's very thin, so you don't get too much product in your brows. But other than that, I rarely use it. I do like the shader brush from the set. I use it fairly often, and I like this crease brush because it's very compact, so when you stick it in your crease and blend around, it's not going to be blending up too high. Some people might not like that as much, but since I don't have a lot of room between my crease and my brows, I have a tendency to get too excited and it gets all the way up into my brows practically, and then I have to use a highlight to kind of push it down again. So I do like these brushes quite a bit. I might forego buying other things and just buy this set again if I had to. I would definitely consider it because the brushes are nice quality. They're very soft. They're synthetic. They're really nice. So I would think about it. I would consider just buying this brush set and skipping, you know, the 217. Because of I like this shadow brush so much, I might even be able to skip the small shader brush. Okay, so my last kind of blending-ish brush, this one I would just buy again. This is a Sonia Kashuk. It's the number 109. They're labeled now. They didn't used to be. Now they show them. It's a round ferrule, so it's not pinched at all. It is a little tiny bit pointed at the top of the brush. If you are going to buy this in Target, I would suggest kind of just in the packages, kind of flatten it just a little tiny bit to see how much of a point it comes to, because it's kind of hard to tell because they're in the, this is the basic line, so they're in just like flat plastic packaging. Really like the softness of this brush. It blends really well. It's not too big for my eye area. I usually use this for blending, but I can do most of my look applying it, kind of like the 217. I can apply and blend with this. It's just a really pleasant brush to use. I really like the size of it. It's a good brush, so I definitely recommend it and would want this specific one again. I would also want some sort of pencil brush. I feel that my lower lash line is very sensitive, so neither of these really kind of fit the bill of what I would want ideally. Ideally, I would want that Suq brush that Lisa Eldridge always uses, but I think it's discontinued and probably costs like $45 anyway. But I wish I had something a little softer that wasn't as stiff as this EcoTools pencil brush. This one is a MAC, or not MAC, a Sigma E30. So it's just one of those goat hair pencil brushes. I find this one, if I kind of use it this way and don't use it this way, it pokes less, so it's okay. It applies a softer look compared to this one. This one is the EcoTools Sharpen and Smudge Duo. There is a pencil sharpener at the end of this one. So the idea is use this to smudge out pencils, presumably. But I like this for actually applying and kind of blending a little bit at the lower lash line and at the upper lash line if I'm doing a very kind of soft liner in shadow on my upper lash line. So I would buy some sort of pencil brush, maybe not necessarily those, but maybe the EcoTools if I was going to pick. Now this one I use as a face brush, but it is technically an eye brush. It's from Coastal Scents, bought it a long time ago. I will put the exact name of it here, hopefully. And this one I use to apply concealer. I have a video of kind of applying, I think it's like a foundation and covering acne routine or something. And it's using the Makeup Forever Full Cover Concealer. This works really well for me for covering blemishes when I do really want that kind of perfected look. A lot of days like today, I don't bother covering my blemishes just because I don't care that much. But when I do really want to cover some really ugly looking blemishes and do a really good job of it, I really like this brush for concealer, like a liquid concealer. So I would want that again. It was very affordable. And lastly, of course, I have to fill in my brows. I could use pencil for the rest of my days, but I like the option of doing powder. My eyebrows naturally are between white blonde and ash blonde, so you can see some of them, but they're pretty pathetic. So I do like to fill them in. My favorite brow brush is this Smashbox number 12. I picked this up off of recommendation from Melanie, Mr. Kong's mom here on YouTube. She has mentioned it quite a few times in her videos. I have several other eyebrow brushes, but I like this one the best. It's kind of thick, it's a little fluffier, and it's stiff. It's just a nice brush. So those are all of my eye brushes that I consider kind of essentials. And for this one, the face brushes, I was pretty specific which ones I wanted, but this is more of, these are the shapes I like, the way I like to use them. I'd be kind of, I guess, not too specific about many of these brushes. I don't feel that great about most of them, except for like that Sonia Kashuk and maybe the Too Faced Teddy Bear set. Those are the ones I really do like specifically. So let me know what your brush essentials are. I'm having a horrible time saying brush today. If you have ones that you just absolutely love, I would love to hear it. If you have any questions about the brushes that I have or how I use them, please let me know in the comments below. Like I said, I will have a video at some point that's kind of using all of these brushes and how I like to use them to give you a little bit better idea of how I use them. So I hope you are having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you soon.